Hi guys, this is Pradeep Shwaso. Welcome to my channel. It's been a little late, there has been a break in between. I am so sorry for this. I promise you that this is not going to happen again, and I'm sure your feedback and your comments have encouraged me to come back again. Thank you very much. So today, what I'm going to talk about is sales. In sales, one important thing which is important, which everybody should remember, is that the prospect or the buyer only buys a product or service when there's a feeling within him or her, right? So it is very important to create an environment where the customer feels like buying. That is the most important skill which you need to develop. And that means that selling is not convincing and convincing is not selling. Selling is more of persuasion. Human beings are singularly motivated. Everything in sales goes to feelings, right? That makes the prospect buy, that makes the buyer buy. So you need to have a skill which you need to develop during your sales conversation, where you are probably creating an environment for the customer to feel to buy. So let's talk about that. I'm sure you will like it. Let's continue. So guys, emotions plays a very important significant role, because ultimately you're not just selling a product or service, you're selling an experience or a solution to a problem. So emotions is integrated to sales. Feelings is emotions, and hence you need to have those specific skills which is important to create an emotional connection. And emotional connection ultimately means to a trust building between you and the prospect. So if you are able to do the emotional connection and the trust building, the customer is more likely to buy. So you have to actually work on the skills which is important for you to have these two things, which is the emotional connection and the trust building which you can do with the prospect or the buyer. So guys, for you to have these two things, which is the emotional connection and the trust building which you can do with the prospect or the buyer. For you to have these two things, which is the emotional connection and the trust building which you can do with the prospect or the buyer. So guys, what is important is building emotional connections in sales requires a blend of interpersonal skills. These key skills is what you need to develop in case if you're missing on something. So let's hear this out, and I'm sure this is going to help you in your career in sales. Yeah, yes. Active listening. The problem with most of the sales guys is they feel that talking is what is sales. Whereas it has to be 80% listening and 20% talking. So listen attentively to your customers to understand their needs, their concerns, their challenges, their preferences, and respond thoughtfully to demonstrate that you value their input. You can't say that their input, whatever they're giving, is wrong or incorrect. Never ever do that. That's going to bounce back and you probably lose the deal. Yeah? So be an active listener. The second skill, which is important for a salesperson, is empathy. What do you mean by empathy? Empathy is nothing but putting yourself in customers' shoes and understanding the emotions and the perspective, right? So genuine concerns for their challenges and desire. So once you show that, when there's the kind of thing happening during the conversation or the engagement, it's probably helping you to build a trust, and the customer starts liking you because you understand his language or her language. You understand their problem. So that's very important. Now, in all this, it's very important to have your non-verbal communication, which is your body language, positive to whatever is happening in this entire conversation. Your facial expressions, your body language, your tone of the voice, maintaining eye contact, smile, and using open and welcome gestures to convey the warmth and empathy is what matters. So guys, I spoke about three skills, which is active listening, empathy, your body language, the non-verbal communication. Let's get to the fourth one. The fourth one is communication skills. So communication skill does not mean you speak and speak and speak, right? Communication means that articulate your communication which is clear and effective. That's what communication is, right? It has to resonate with the customer's communication style and preferences. Okay? let's come back to the let's go to the fifth point, with fifth skills, which is building rapport. When you are engaging with the customer, when you're talking to the customer, when you're listening to the customer, when you're using a positive body language, it is helping you to build rapport. Build your rapport with the prospect. Once you're able to build your rapport with the prospect, there is an underlying trust building which is happening between you and the prospect, and that is what will help him to buy. Yeah. So always remember that. Not to forget, the next skill which is important to you is problem solving. Problem solving essentially means that the customer may always, come up with some of the challenges or the issues which they are facing, and you should be able to demonstrate willingness to offer solutions to this. Right? Always demonstrate your willingness to help and by offering solutions. There may be one or probably areas where probably you do not have a solution, but you probably can give a positive reply to the customer by saying that, I'm sure there is a solution with this in my company, and I'll come back to you. Okay. The next important skill is resilience. What does it mean? It means, you should be prepared to handle rejections. You should be able to handle objections gracefully. Your body language has to be always positive. You can't probably show a negative body language there, right? Also, don't forget that one of the skills which is authenticity. What do you mean by authenticity? Be genuine and sincere, right? In your interactions. Do not exaggerate. Do not lie. That is what will build the trust between you and the prospect, and that is what will help him or create a feeling to buy your product or service, right? So there are a few more skills which is important. The next important skill is emotional intelligence, which basically means that you understand and manage your own emotions effectively, as well as you are able to recognize and respond to the emotion of the prospect. So you should have that skill with you, right? So once you have all these skills, I'm sure you will be creating an environment where the customer is getting an emotional connect with you and probably is getting a feeling to buy. You don't have to, push a customer for the customer to product or service to buy. He will probably come to you, what is the next step? So these skills are very, very important. Apart from this, there are a few small important skills which I think we should not miss it, and that's the reason I'm talking about it. That always during the engagement, ensure that you're asking open-ended questions. Okay, there are two types of questions. One is open-ended, one is closed. I'm sure you all know about it. Ask open-ended questions, because that is what will make customer more engaged with you. Also, not to forget, at times you have to use your storytelling skills. Storytelling skills create an impact in the mind of the prospect, probably where he is able to relate his challenge or requirement to that particular requirement, and it creates a very, very effective way of understanding the problem, right? Always find a common ground, personalize your thing, okay? Demonstrate your passion, okay? And if you do all these skills and you are able to do all this, I'm sure you are going to have the environment where the customer is willing to tell you that let's look for the next step. Yeah, let's go to the next step. And always not to forget, once you have the customer with you or the customer is onboarded, follow up and build the relationship. Okay, so it's very important. It's not that once you sign a customer or the deal is done, you forget about the customer. So relationship. Okay, so it's very important. It's not that once you sign it. I know you guys are doing this, but there are few skills which you may not be doing. So work on it, and I'm sure it's going to help you as a salesperson. So when you are able to master these skills, you can effectively engage your prospects on an emotional level, increase the likelihood of building strong relationships, and ultimately closing more sales. Yeah. So please hone these skills, establish a strong emotional connections with your customers, leading to greater trust, loyalty, and ultimately more successful sales. So please remember my line: customers buys from people whom they trust. It is not the product or service or the brand. Work on it. Do like and subscribe. Thank you very much.